Y'all, all of y'all, come here. Welcome to chess, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I brought you here today to show you guys a game between Eugene Torre and Roderick Nava. It is taken from the 2012 Philippines Grand Final. I've shown a couple other games from that tournament before, but I figured I'd go back and take another one. We're in between tournaments right now. So for all of my people in the Philippines, it is now 4 a.m. So magandang umaga, maayong buntag, kumusta na aking mga kaibigan. Appreciate you guys stopping by and taking a look at my stuff. Masaya akong makita kang muli. Appreciate you guys very much. Maraming salamat po for taking a look at my stuff. You know, hopefully everybody's doing good. It's been a little while since I made a video. Been kind of busy with some stuff, but you know, I should be getting back to my videos here. And we got another tournament in about 2 weeks. So I'm really looking forward to that. But without any further ado, as the Gad Matter says, kind of stole it. Let's go ahead and take a look, see what we have for this game. All right, so we got d4, knight to f6. All typical regular stuff. Then we got bishop to g5. So we got the Trompowsky attack. Now this is about the third most played move when you're dealing with you know, a knight to f6, an Indian type situation. Because you know, if we back up one move, this is an Indian, and then you know we have as you guys always know, you know, we have so many different ways to do this. We have some Bogo Indian type stuff. We got some Queen's Gambit decline type stuff, Catalan, Slav. There's all different kinds of things you can get to from this position. But we do have the Trompowsky. So we got c5. Bishop takes on f6, just giving up the bishop just pretty much immediately. Pawn takes f6. Now the whole point with you trying to give up the bishop, you don't always want to give up a bishop for a knight. But a majority of the time when you do give up a bishop for a knight, you're trying to cause, you know, either like undefending a pawn, or you're trying to damage their structure. And so as you can see, black has, you know, quite a damaged structure they're having to deal with now. So you got d5, queen comes to b6, attacking this lonely little pawn over here. And so we see queen to c1. We got f5, opening up this diagonal for this bishop. So f5 is gonna come at some point. We see e3, bishop comes to g7, and then we have c3. Really the only way to defend that b2 square. We have d6. We got knight to a3, knight comes to d7. And we are actually still in theory. So it's a pretty crazy position, but as of 2012, this position had been seen one other time with knight to d7. It was a Fabiano Caruana game, and actually knight to e2 was the move that was played there. But we do see queen to c2, and this one is a Torre novelty. You guys heard me in another video, I said the Nava novelty, but this time it's a Torre novelty. So we got knight over to f6. Bishop comes to b5 with check. We see king coming to f8. This was actually the best move by the computer. I'm not sure if there was some type of tactics involved. Oh yeah, there was tactics involved. This pawn is being protected by this bishop. So if you blocked with the bishop, you would trade here. So like just taking you into the example, you would trade here, and then after knight took, you would be winning a pawn. But I guess you wouldn't be winning a pawn because of that. I don't know. I guess that's wrong. Maybe you don't take here first. I don't know. I didn't calculate. I didn't go through that part or whatever. But there must be some type of tactics in there that I'm not seeing. As to the reason why king to f8 is the best move. I'm gonna find out after this video. See what's going on with that. So we see rook over to d1. We got a6 attacking that bishop. Bishop comes back to e2. We see queen to c7. Knight comes to h3. So as you guys can tell, it's been a pretty crazy game. Like if you look at white's position, they got both their knights on the rim. So I mean, just from first glance, you can think like, man, these knights are just kind of grim on the rim, right? Nah, you're actually doing pretty good. I mean, black has a slight advantage, but it's nothing to write home about. So we see b5 trying to do a little attack over here, you know, trying to break up this pawn structure here. So we see castles by white. We got rook to b8, just exclaiming that, you know, pushing b4 probably at some point. So we got knight coming to f4. We see e5. and we got knight to h5. Also possible was taking here with the pawn en passant after takes. You're not going to be strapped with the weak pawn because you are going to get d5 in. So we see e5, knight coming to h5. We got knight taking h5, bishop taking h5, queen to e7. We got queen to e2. Now something that is pretty legitimate in the situation is the fact that this file is open. So there can be some slight problems that might arise coming up pretty soon. So the rook comes to g8. We see knight over to c2, bishop to f6, king comes to h1, king to g7. So we're kind of doing like a little artificial castle situation over here. So we got e4, bishop comes to g5. We have pawn takes f5. And this kind of gets black in a position where now, because they've allowed the game to be opened, you know, they have given white a nice advantage here. As you guys will be able to see, you know, this file is going to be very, very relevant. Like I said before, the bishop takes on f5. Now you do have the bishop here as black, but the position is fairly close, so the bishops don't have a lot of influence compared to, you know, if all these center pawns and stuff are out of the way. So we got knight to e3. We got bishop to d7. Bishop comes to d4. It's a really nice idea. After rook b to f8, this continues to give white a really nice advantage because now you're forcing the trade of bishops. And so we see knight to f5 with check. Bishop takes on f5. Bishop takes on f5. As I told you guys earlier, this file is starting to become relevant, and this file is half open. So this king right here is much more uncomfortable than this king here. So the queen comes to f6, trying to defend a little bit. We got the queen to e4. Queen comes to h6. We got rook to d3. And this is a really, really beautiful rook lift because, like I said, this file is halfway open. So you do want that rook opposite the king if you can get it. So the rook comes to h8. We got rook to h3. The queen comes to f6. And we see rook to h5 in the game, but backing up, rook to g3 just wins a complete piece. Because it does pin this bishop down to this king. So like I said before, you know, this open file here is very, very relevant. So you would see something like h6 to defend, but after h4, the rook coming to e8 to try to give the king some room. You take on g5. After the pawn takes on g5, you see bishop down to h3, and you're doing a nice job blocking this check, and you don't have any pawn pushes here. So this is just a true piece. But like I said, we did see rook to h5 in the game. We see rook f to g8. We got h4, forcing that bishop back up to h6. We see a4. So we got like a little bit of kind of shifting of attention over here, trying to create some weaknesses on the queen side. After rook comes to a8, we see rook to a1. Rook h comes to b8, and then we see g4. And this is the key. This is a really killer move here, because this bishop and this queen. But actually, the bishop is kind of stalemated a little bit, and the queen doesn't really have a lot of places to go, and you are threatening to open up this file fully. And so, as you can see on the black side, it's getting pretty dicey. So, the bishop comes to f4, trying to save itself, but we do see g5 kicking the queen, and then we start to see an avalanche occur on black side of the board. So. We first start off with rooks. Rook takes h7 with check, and that puts the king on g8. And we have come to the point in the game that I want you to go ahead and stop the video and see what Torre played. And it's a pretty killer blow to black. So go ahead and do so real quick. Okay, cool. So I think this is a move that very few people would actually find. It looked kind of strange to me when I first saw it. It just kind of looks like it puts it takes your bishop away, but it doesn't. And the move is bishop to e6. So the problem with this particular situation is the fact that this rook is protected by the queen, and you are threatening to take here with check or to take here, and you know, you're gonna be mating in so many different variations. So let's just give. After move 37, bishop to e6, you know, this is the position that Roderick Nava did resign the game. And I will show you guys a sample. So 2 different sample variations, you know, that lead to checkmate. So if we were to take the bishop because it's too dangerous, you would actually be seeing a very, very quick mate. And that would be queen to g6 with check, forcing the king over to f8, and then we'd see queen to f7 with checkmate. So you definitely don't want to take the bishop. But if you were to just continue on and try to maybe just like run with the king, going to f8, you see queen to f5, and then there's just really not much to do. The queen would come to c7. We'd see rook to h8 with check, king coming down to e7, and then queen taking f7 with check. And that is all she wrote there. And the really interesting thing about this position, like I say before, when you get in certain positions where the computer wants you to throw your queens and your rooks like just all the way away, that's when you know it's just really kind of bad. And so in this position, the computer actually suggests as the top move, queen takes g5. And it's just basically, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to close the position as much as possible. And then allowing you to kind of win some material back. And this isn't immediate checkmate here, but this is really the only way for you to like postpone mate for as long as possible. So, cry face. But yeah, that was that game. I thought it was really interesting with that bishop to e6 idea, because I think that was a move that a lot of people kind of overlook. I mean, I don't know if I put my own bishop right there. It just doesn't really seem like a move that would just kind of automatically just come, to your mind or whatever. So it was a pretty nice idea he came up with. So that was that. So Marami Salamat po King Mar Kaibigan. Appreciate you guys stopping by very much in Hagala. Anybody that speaks Cebuano. If you guys have any other suggestions, go ahead and feel free to let me know. But I will see you guys next time. Appreciate it very much. All right then.